The aroma of coffee and sizzling bacon filled the small, bustling diner on a chilly San Francisco morning. Monica Davis hurried from table to table, her worn sneakers squeaking faintly against the linoleum floor. Her face carried a gentle smile, but her tired eyes betrayed the weight she bore. Behind the counter, Karen Thompson, her boss, barked orders with the precision of a drill sergeant, making it impossible for Monica to catch her breath. Monica's day began long before sunrise, packing lunch for her 8-year-old daughter Lily and checking on her frail mother, whose illness seemed to deepen with each passing day. With bills piling up and medical expenses looming over her, Monica's paycheck from the diner was barely enough to scrape by. Yet she faced the world with a quiet determination, her optimism as steady as the morning fog that rolled over the city. Karen was always quick to criticize Monica. A misplaced plate or a slightly late order was met with biting remarks, loud enough for customers to hear. Monica would nod apologetically, swallowing her pride, and continue working without complaint. Her colleagues whispered about her patience, wondering how she endured Karen's harshness. Amid her struggles, Monica found joy in small moments. A compliment from a regular customer, Lily's laughter when recounting her school day, or the rare moments when her mother felt strong enough to smile. But deep down, Monica longed for a change, a glimmer of hope to lift her from the unyielding grind. That morning, as she cleaned a table near the window, she caught her reflection in the glass, a woman weathered by hardship but unwilling to give up. Little did she know, her life was about to take an unexpected turn. The afternoon sunlight streamed through the diner's smudged windows, casting a warm glow on the scuffed tables. The lunch rush had just ended, leaving Monica a brief moment to catch her breath. She was wiping down a table when the doorbell jingled, signaling a new customer. In walked a Mark Zuckerberg wearing a hoodie and jeans, blending seamlessly into the city's casual crowd. He glanced around the diner with curiosity before choosing a booth near the window. Monica approached him with her usual warm demeanor, holding a menu in one hand and a coffee pot in the other, not recognizing him at all. He nodded politely as she placed the menu on the table and poured him a cup of coffee. There was nothing extraordinary about him to Monica, just another customer seeking a quiet meal. She jotted down his simple order and moved back to the kitchen where Karen was yelling about an overcooked burger. Monica hurried back to Mark's table with a warm smile, balancing a plate of pancakes and a side of fruit. He barely glanced up, engrossed in his phone. As she placed the dishes in front of him, he quickly mumbled something about needing extra syrup and a glass of orange juice. Monica nodded and dashed off, her polite nature pushing her to accommodate, despite the growing demands of her other customers. As Mark typed furiously on his phone, Monica returned with the items he requested. But as she focused on fulfilling his impromptu needs, the frustration of other customers simmered. A regular in the corner booth waved his hand irritably, complaining that his coffee refill was taking too long. Another table muttered loudly about the slow service, glaring at Monica as she rushed past. When she finally managed to deliver the refills and fresh orders, the diner's once cozy atmosphere had grown tense. A wealthy-looking man in a tailored suit stood by the counter, tapping his expensive watch. When Monica approached him to take his order, his eyes narrowed as he appraised her. He sneered at her apron, stained from the rush, and made a biting comment about how someone like her probably couldn't handle a simple diner job. The air grew heavy as he continued, peppering his remarks with thinly veiled insults about her background and appearance. Monica's hands trembled as she held her notepad, but she stood firm, calmly explaining that she was doing her best. Mark glanced up from his phone, his expression darkening as he observed the exchange. Without revealing who he was, he quietly rose and approached the man, his tone calm but commanding as he told him his behavior was unacceptable. The man faltered, sensing something formidable about Mark, and left the diner in a huff. Monica exhaled shakily, grateful for the intervention, but also painfully aware of the other customers' glares. She returned to her work with a forced smile, determined to keep her composure. Little did she know, this incident would mark the beginning of a drastic change in her life. Karen burst out of the kitchen, her face flushed with anger. She'd heard the raised voices and seen the commotion from afar. Storming toward Monica, she demanded to know what had happened. Monica hesitated, trying to explain the entitled customer's remarks and how she had tried to defuse the situation. Karen, however, wasn't interested in explanations. Her voice carried across the diner as she accused Monica of upsetting customers and being unprofessional. The tension in the room thickened, and Monica could feel the weight of every judgmental stare. She was only trying to help. Besides, she couldn't ignore him because he was asking too much and taking time. Any other person would have done the same. At this moment, Mark quietly stepped forward, attempting to defend Monica. He spoke calmly, suggesting that Monica had handled the situation with grace and professionalism despite the challenges. He also admitted that it was his fault and that it was unintentional. Karen's sharp eyes shifted to him, and though she didn't recognize him, she dismissed his words, clearly unwilling to back down. After pouring a whole lot of harsh words on Monica, she fired her at the spot, instructing her to pick her stuff and leave immediately. Monica's chest tightened as the words sank in. She glanced around the room, catching glimpses of pity and indifference from the diners. Without another word, she untied her apron and set it on the counter. Walking out into the chilly afternoon, she felt the weight of humiliation settle on her shoulders. Her mind raced with worry about Lily and her mother, unsure of how she would make ends meet now. Yet, as she stepped away from the diner, she couldn't shake the feeling that this wasn't the end. It was the beginning of something unexpected. The brisk wind nipped at Monica's cheeks as she wandered aimlessly through the streets of San Francisco. Her mind was a blur, replaying Karen's harsh words and the humiliation she had endured in the diner. She eventually found herself at a nearby park, where the sound of children laughing and the sight of trees swaying gently in the wind provided a momentary sense of calm. She sank onto a bench, pulling her coat tighter around her. Her thoughts drifted to Lily and her mother, the two reasons she had pushed through every grueling shift at the diner. The weight of uncertainty settled on her shoulders like a heavy blanket, but she forced herself to take deep breaths, willing her tears to stay hidden. A soft voice startled her from her thoughts. She looked up to see the man from the diner, Mark, standing a few feet away, his hands tucked into his hoodie pockets. He approached cautiously, as though afraid of startling her further. When he spoke, his tone was kind yet firm. He introduced himself, revealing his identity as Mark Zuckerberg. Monica blinked, struggling to process his words. The casual diner customer she had just served was, in fact, one of the wealthiest men in the world. Mark commended her for her strength and grace in handling the situation earlier, expressing genuine admiration for how she had managed to stay composed under such pressure. Monica was taken aback, her mind racing as she tried to reconcile the ordinary man she'd served with the billionaire standing before her. She dismissed her actions with a humble shrug, insisting she was simply doing her job. Mark smiled slightly, sensing her disbelief, but also her modesty. Little did Monica know, this encounter was about to change her life in ways she never imagined. Mark sat beside her on the bench, the hum of the city surrounding them. He leaned forward, his elbows resting on his knees, as he carefully chose his next words. He explained how deeply her actions had resonated with him, not just her kindness to him, but her unwavering professionalism and grace, despite the chaos and hostility at the diner. Monica listened quietly, still unsure of where this conversation was headed. She had spent her life surrounded by struggle and skepticism, and while Mark's words were kind, they felt almost too good to be true. Mark told her she deserved recognition for her character, something he rarely witnessed in his world of power and privilege. He then offered to help her, financially and professionally. He spoke of creating opportunities for people like her, those who embodied resilience and kindness despite life's hardships. Monica's heart raced. The offer was generous, almost unbelievable, but doubt crept in. Why would someone like him go out of his way for her? She hesitated, her natural caution making her question his intentions. Mark, sensing her hesitation, reassured her. He told her he was drawn to people who inspired him and wanted to support her because she deserved a chance to thrive. His words were genuine, his tone unwavering. Monica's gaze softened, though her guard remained up. She wasn't sure if she could trust him entirely, but something about his sincerity made her feel for the first time in years, that perhaps her life could take a turn for the better. The following morning, Monica sat in her modest kitchen, sipping lukewarm coffee while her mind churned with worry. Her mother, seated nearby, noticed her quiet demeanor, but chose not to press. Suddenly, her phone buzzed, jolting her from her thoughts. The caller ID displayed an unknown number. Monica hesitated, but answered, her voice tentative. A warm, professional voice introduced themselves as Mark Zuckerberg's assistant, extending an invitation for a private meeting at one of his company's offices. Monica's pulse quickened. The idea of stepping into such a setting felt surreal, but with nothing to lose, she agreed. The following afternoon, she found herself standing in front of a sleek glass building that towered over the bustling San Francisco streets. Monica's palms were damp, and doubt gnawed at her confidence. Dressed in her best outfit, a simple blazer and slacks, she stepped inside, her worn shoes clicking softly on the polished floors. Mark greeted her personally, his casual attire contrasting the opulence of the office. He led her to a meeting room where he explained the purpose of the gathering. He wanted to offer her a position at one of his charitable organizations. The role, though entry-level, would allow her to apply her customer service skills in an environment focused on helping others. Monica listened intently, her heart fluttering. The opportunity felt like a lifeline, but uncertainty lingered. Could she truly transition from a diner waitress to an administrative role? Sensing her hesitation, Mark reassured her, emphasizing that her kindness, resilience, and work ethic were precisely the qualities his team sought. With a deep breath, Monica accepted the offer, her voice steady but filled with emotion. For the first time in years, she felt a glimmer of hope, a chance to rebuild her life for herself, her daughter, and her mother. Just days after her life-changing meeting, Monica found herself at the center of an unexpected storm. News of her firing and Mark's intervention had somehow leaked to the press. Headlines detailed the incident at the diner, sparking widespread outrage and heated debates about racism and workplace discrimination. Social media platforms buzzed with hashtags supporting Monica, condemning the diner, and even celebrating Mark's unexpected generosity. Monica watched the frenzy unfold in disbelief, her name and face plastered across news outlets and viral posts. Meanwhile, the once bustling diner became a target of public scrutiny. Karen, who had prided herself on running a respectable establishment, was overwhelmed by the backlash. Negative reviews flooded the diner's online pages, and protesters occasionally gathered outside, demanding accountability. Karen tried to control the narrative, giving statements to local reporters that painted her actions as justified. But her excuses only fueled the outrage. Former employees began sharing their own experiences of mistreatment, further tarnishing the diner's reputation. Monica, on the other hand, remained largely out of the public eye, focusing on her new job and adjusting to the unfamiliar world of office life. Despite the chaos swirling around her, she felt a growing sense of peace, knowing she had found a path forward. Mark, ever discreet, continued to support Monica quietly, ensuring she had the resources and guidance to succeed. What had started as a day of humiliation had transformed into an unexpected journey, one that Monica never imagined but was determined to embrace fully. Monica arrived at her new workplace on a crisp Monday morning, a mix of excitement and nerves swirling in her chest. The office, housed in a modest building on the outskirts of the city, was a hub for one of Mark's charitable organizations. The environment felt welcoming, yet Monica couldn't shake the lingering doubt about whether she truly belonged. Her supervisor, a warm and energetic woman named Vanessa, greeted her with a reassuring smile and guided her through her first day. Monica was introduced to her team, a group of diverse, passionate individuals dedicated to making a difference in underprivileged communities. Though the setting was unfamiliar, Monica found comfort in the team's collaborative spirit. Her role involved coordinating outreach programs and assisting with administrative tasks, a far cry from the diner's fast-paced chaos. Yet, Monica quickly adapted, applying her customer service skills to build rapport with her colleagues and program beneficiaries. Her compassionate nature shone through in every interaction, earning her admiration from those around her. As the weeks passed, Monica grew more confident. She felt a deep sense of purpose in her work. Whether it was organizing food drives, managing schedules, or simply listening to the struggles of the people the organization aimed to help, the transformation from a struggling waitress to a valued member of a nonprofit team was nothing short of remarkable. Mark, true to his word, remained discreet but attentive, checking in periodically to ensure she felt supported. For the first time in years, Monica felt not just stability but a sense of belonging. She had found more than just a job. She had discovered a calling that aligned with her values and dreams. Back at the diner, the once bustling atmosphere had turned desolate. Karen stood behind the counter, staring at the dwindling crowd of customers. What had once been a lively establishment filled with regulars now felt eerily quiet, the tables mostly empty. The boycott against the diner had gained momentum as news of Monica's firing and Karen's behavior spread like wildfire. Social media campaigns, fueled by outrage and solidarity, encouraged people to avoid the diner. The negative reviews poured in relentlessly, painting a grim picture of Karen's management style and the toxic work environment she had cultivated. To make matters worse, former employees began sharing their stories with local news outlets. Tales of verbal harm, unfair treatment, and Karen's domineering attitude painted her in an unflattering light. The stories, corroborated by multiple individuals, dismantled any hope Karen had of salvaging her reputation. Desperate to save her business, Karen attempted damage control. She offered half-hearted apologies and even slashed menu prices in an effort to lure customers back. But the public wasn't swayed. The damage was done, and the diner's decline seemed irreversible. By the end of the month, Karen faced the harsh reality of her actions. Bills piled up, and the staff she still employed began resigning one by one, unwilling to endure the fallout any longer. For Monica, hearing about the diner's downfall evoked mixed emotions. While she felt vindicated, her focus remained on her new chapter. Monica was caught off guard when Mark's assistant invited her to a prestigious tech conference in Silicon Valley as Mark's personal guest. She felt a mix of disbelief and anxiety, unsure how she could fit into an event filled with some of the brightest minds. However, the assistant assured her that Mark wanted to highlight her story as a testament to resilience and the power of kindness, inspiring others in unexpected ways. A week later, a stylist arrived at Monica's modest apartment, sent by Mark. Though feeling out of place amidst the luxurious fabrics and accessories, the stylist's genuine enthusiasm helped Monica relax. By the end of the day, she wore a sleek yet simple dress that accentuated her natural beauty, making her feel strong and confident. On the conference day, a black car whisked her away to the grand venue. The energy of the sprawling conference center overwhelmed her, but she reminded herself of her purpose. Mark greeted her warmly and introduced her to influential figures, making her feel like an equal. As the conference began, Monica's nerves built as Mark took the stage. He spoke about technology's role in empowering communities before introducing her story. He recounted her struggles, highlighting her grace and kindness in adversity. When the audience applauded warmly, Monica stepped onto the stage. Though nervous, she shared her journey with steady resolve. She spoke about her struggles to support her family, her unfair dismissal, and the kindness that transformed her life. Monica emphasized treating others with dignity and standing against injustice. Her heartfelt message resonated deeply, earning a standing ovation. Monica's speech became an overnight sensation, with clips circulating on social media. People from all walks of life connected with her story, sharing their own experiences of resilience. Hashtags like "See Kindness" Matters trended, sparking conversations about workplace fairness and kindness. Meanwhile, discussions about the diner's mistreatment of employees resurfaced, amplifying calls for change. Mark ensured Monica was supported as her story gained global attention. Despite the whirlwind, she remained humble, using the platform to advocate for workplace equality and empathy. Monica's journey became a symbol of hope, proving that resilience and kindness could create remarkable change. The mounting backlash eventually became too much for Karen to bear. Her once thriving diner was now empty most days, and her reputation had plummeted. The harsh reality of her actions finally sank in, and with no other options, she decided to reach out to Monica. Karen called Monica late one evening, her voice trembling as she asked to meet in person. Monica agreed, though her heart was heavy with mixed emotions. They met at a quiet cafe, a far cry from the bustling diner where their paths had crossed. Karen began hesitantly, admitting that she had been wrong to fire Monica and acknowledging the unfairness of her actions. She spoke of sleepless nights and the regret that had consumed her since Monica's story went public. Her apology was genuine, though clumsy, as she struggled to articulate the depth of her remorse. Monica listened intently, her emotions a mix of hurt and compassion. When Karen finished, Monica spoke calmly, explaining that forgiveness wasn't about condoning what happened, but about freeing herself from the weight of anger. She told Karen that holding on to bitterness would only hinder her growth, and she chose to let it go. Karen's eyes filled with tears, her relief evident. Monica, though still scarred by the experience, felt a sense of closure. As they parted ways, Monica knew she had made the right decision. Her journey wasn't about dwelling on past pain, but about moving forward with grace and strength. Mark, deeply moved by Monica's resilience and the impact of her story, decided it wasn't enough to help her alone. He wanted to create a legacy of opportunity for others in similar situations. After weeks of planning, he announced the launch of the Monica Davis Scholarship Fund. The initiative aimed to support single parents pursuing higher education or job training, providing them with a chance to build better futures for their families. When Mark shared the idea with Monica, she was overwhelmed. She couldn't believe her name would be associated with something so transformative. Despite her initial doubts about her capabilities, Mark encouraged her to take a leading role in the fund. He assured her that her experience and insights made her the perfect person to shape the initiative. Monica threw herself into the work, pouring her heart into creating a program that truly addressed the struggles she had faced. She met with community leaders, potential donors, and single parents who shared their stories of perseverance and hope. The scholarship fund quickly gained traction. Applications flooded in, and the first batch of recipients was chosen. Monica stood on stage at the fund's launch event, sharing her journey once again, but this time with a sense of empowerment. She looked out at the audience and saw faces filled with hope. The fund wasn't just about money. It was about reminding people that their circumstances didn't define their potential. With the stability her new role provided, Monica could finally focus on her family. The first step was moving her mother into a state-of-the-art care facility. She toured several places until she found one that felt warm and welcoming, a stark contrast to the understaffed and overburdened facility her mother had endured for years. Seeing her mother settled in a place where she received attentive care brought Monica immense relief. Her mother's health improved noticeably, and their visits became moments of joy rather than worry. Monica's daughter, Lily, was next on her list. With her newfound financial security, Monica enrolled Lily in a better school, one that offered smaller class sizes and a nurturing environment. Watching Lily thrive, making new friends, and excelling in her studies brought Monica to tears more than once. As Monica reflected on her journey, she was struck by how far she had come. She remembered the sleepless nights filled with worry about paying bills and providing for her family. Now, those worries were replaced with dreams of what the future could hold. Her relationship with her family deepened. Each step she took to improve their lives reminded her of the strength she had always carried within her, even during her darkest days. Monica's life had transformed, and with it, she found a renewed sense of purpose and hope. Despite Karen's attempts to save her diner, the business continued to decline. The once bustling establishment now sat eerily quiet, its booths and counters empty. The few remaining employees had left, unable to withstand the public backlash and lack of stability. Customers avoided the diner entirely, their boycott strengthened by ongoing social media posts, highlighting past incidents of mistreatment. Karen struggled to keep up with mounting bills and dwindling revenue. Desperation led her to slash prices further and even offer promotional deals, but nothing worked. The damage to her reputation was irreparable. With no other options, Karen made the difficult decision to close the diner for good. As the doors shut for the final time, Karen felt a mix of emotions: relief, regret, and shame. Selling the property was her next step, and she decided to leave the restaurant business altogether. The experience had been humbling, forcing her to confront her biases and acknowledge the harm her actions had caused. In her quieter moments, Karen reflected on the fallout. Losing the diner wasn't just a financial blow, it was a lesson in accountability. For the first time, she began to truly understand the importance of treating others with fairness and respect. Months later, Monica was running errands in a local grocery store when a familiar face stopped her in her tracks. It was the entitled customer who had harassed her at the diner. Monica's chest tightened, but before she could react, the woman approached her hesitantly. The woman apologized, her demeanor far different from the arrogance she had displayed that day. She admitted to seeing Monica's story online and acknowledged the harm her behavior had caused. Her voice trembled as she explained how ashamed she felt. Monica listened quietly, her face unreadable. When the woman finished, Monica spoke calmly, explaining the power of words and actions. She shared how that moment had been a turning point in her life, though it had come at great emotional cost. The woman nodded, clearly humbled, and promised to be more mindful in the future. Monica accepted the apology, but not before reminding her that every interaction, no matter how small, had the potential to impact someone's life profoundly. As they parted ways, Monica felt a sense of closure. The encounter had reinforced her belief in growth and redemption. Her journey wasn't just about her own healing, it was about fostering change, one person at a time. Monica's scholarship fund grew beyond what she or Mark had initially envisioned. Donations poured in from across the country, many accompanied by heartfelt messages. People shared how Monica's story had inspired them to reflect on their own actions or become more vocal about workplace fairness. Local businesses, community leaders, and even celebrities contributed, eager to be part of something that symbolizes resilience and second chances. The fund supported single parents pursuing education, job training, or entrepreneurial endeavors. Monica often met with the recipients, and their stories deeply moved her. One recipient, a father of two, had used the scholarship to complete nursing school after losing his job. Another, a young woman, had started her own small catering business, citing Monica's journey as the spark that gave her hope. Monica began to see herself not just as someone who had survived, but as a catalyst for change. She made it a point to highlight the recipients' accomplishments during fund events, ensuring they received the recognition they deserved. Each story shared strengthened her resolve to continue this work. The impact of the fund became a ripple effect, touching lives in ways Monica couldn't have imagined. People saw her as a symbol of perseverance, and the fund became a movement for uplifting others. As more success stories emerged, Monica's name became synonymous with hope. Late one afternoon, Monica sat in her modest yet welcoming office, reviewing applications for the next scholarship cycle. A knock on the door interrupted her. Standing there was a young woman, nervous but determined, seeking advice about an upcoming interview. Her demeanor reminded Monica of herself during her days at the diner, full of potential but weighed down by uncertainty. Monica offered the young woman a seat, listening as she explained her struggles and aspirations. The conversation stretched on as Monica shared her own story, emphasizing the importance of believing in oneself, even in the darkest times. By the end, she had coached the young woman on how to navigate her interview and left her with words of encouragement that came straight from her heart. That evening, Monica reflected on how far she had come. Her journey had been painful, yet transformative. One act of kindness from Mark had set her on this path, and now she was paying it forward. She realized the true power of privilege wasn't in what it offered her, but in how she could use it to uplift others. The young woman later secured the job, returning to thank Monica personally. In her gratitude, Monica saw a reflection of herself, further solidifying her commitment to her work. Her life now was about creating opportunities for others, knowing firsthand how transformative they could be. Monica vowed to continue spreading kindness and resilience, understanding that change begins with a single gesture and grows through the lives it touches. The world wasn't perfect, but it was better, one life at a time. What do you think about Mark Zuckerberg's actions and Monica's way of spreading kindness? Do you think the diner owner deserves what she got? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for watching and for being part of this journey with us. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more inspiring stories. We'll see you in the next video.